everybody. Welcome to the 90th edition of the Post-Raw Show. I am Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
And I'm Victoria Tedesco, as my brother likes to make fun of me.
What was that?
He makes fun of me. He goes, and I'm Victoria Tedesco.
I know he does. Never seen you do the whole...
That's why I was exaggerating, because he always says I'm like very, crazy when I do it.
If you actually did that, that would be completely frightening.
And I'm Victoria Tedesco.
I'm Mike Tedesco.
Golly.
Wow. Well, 90 episodes. Man, oh man. We are getting closer and closer to the big one.
The big one.
The big triple digits.
I know.
Man alive.
Craziness.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yes. Well, we have a lot to talk about tonight. It's not just Raw. There's a lot of news that came out today. There's a lot going on in this company. Doug and I had a great conversation about some of the issues plaguing the WWE last night on Wrestleview Live, where Doug was supposed to pull me back, and then he wound up joining me on the cliff, which was funny. But
it happens sometimes, when you're both really passionate about something.
Exactly. So if you didn't see that yet, make sure you check out Wrestleview Live as well. First watch us, and then go back and watch Wrestleview Live. But we're going to be talking a little more about those issues as well, because they're...
Well, it all kind of obviously goes together, considering not only is it the post-show, the aftermath of exactly,
rules.
but
I know.
It all just, it's all blending together, unfortunately.
But there's a lot to say about what's going on in this company. But before we do all of that, let's say hello to everybody in the chat room. We have Quentin Walters.
Hello.
In the chat room. We have Andrew Elder. Andrew,
hello.
He's here. And he's not going to be on Victoria's list. He's not going to be on the list.
No, he's not on my list. Absolutely not.
We got
I have to get a clipboard, by the way.
The list of Victoria.
Yes.
We have Adeep Krishna Keelar in the chat room. Hello, everybody. Kit Dyson's in the chat room.
Hello.
All right. Billy Hefner, Uncle Billy's in the chat room.
Uncle Billy's not in the list this week.
Enish. I'll pop in for a little, waiting for a call today.
Okay, that's fine.
Hello, Initiator. Hello.
Okay.
We have Grash.
Hello.
How was Men in Stretchy Pants tonight? It was a show. I mean, it wasn't a bad show. We'll talk about it, though. We're definitely going to talk about it. I promise you that. Nafis.
Hello.
Our dear friend Nafis is in the chat room.
I love how Nafis always sticks up for me, by the way. Especially against my brother.
Yes, yeah. Nafis is just, he's our guy.
He's just a stand-up guy anyway.
He's just a good dude. He's just a great dude. Stephen Butler in the chat room tonight.
Hello.
Stephen, hello. CJ Bowman.
Hey.
CJ Bowman getting close to 100. Time to shut it down after the dance.
It was really for my brother, because I want him to make fun of me some more.
Hey, Scotty Poindexter in the chat room. What's good, Tedesco?
Hello.
Everything's good. Grash saying the horror show. Yeah,
it was a horror show.
The horror show is the company itself.
It was a horror.
It's an appropriate tagline for the company itself. Mashoon Walls in the chat room.
Hello.
Another good Monday night. Tedesco and Peeps. And Jorge Oliva as
Hello.
well. Hi, and Ola, Familia Tedesco, happy 90th. Looking forward to your great recap as usual. But yesterday, the horror show was just that. It was truly a horror to watch.
He's so right.
What do you think?
He's so right.
You are totally right. It was a terrible show. It really, really makes those Saudi shows look spectacular.
All right, I'm not going to go there.
Hindsight. We've never even seen a Saudi show before.
And I never will.
And she never will. You know who's not in the chat room tonight? And Quentin called it out here. Shield.
Yeah, he's on my list again.
Daniel's back on the list. He's back. Daniel just has to be here every week now. That's it.
Yeah, if Daniel, to get back in our good graces, my good graces, he has to be on the show for a consecutive amount of 5 times in order.
Okay, so like a month and a week.
Yeah, exactly.
That much.
And if he's not here for the 100th show, then I'm really going to be mad.
Yeah. CJ says, I thought the tagline was still appropriate for pro wrestling as a whole.
Yes.
And I agree with that as well. Nafis asking if it was as bad as Hell in a Cell 2019. Go back and watch, because I did that show solo. Go back and watch Wrestleview Live, me reviewing Hell in a Cell by myself. And I should have been in a great mood when that show happened. I should have been in a great mood. And check out the post Raw, because I did that one by myself too, and just watch a man slowly just crumble under the weight of Vince McMahon's entertainment.
I will say that
I should have been on top of the world when those shows were going on. That was like a week before Liliana was born. I'm about to be a new father, and I'm sitting there yelling and just going crazy over Hell in a Cell. What the hell was I thinking?
Okay, but if you think about it now, if somebody told you what was happening now and how bad yesterday was, I don't think you would have believed them.
No.
Because yesterday was just horrible.
Yesterday was horrible. But, I mean, there's nothing, like, worse in this company right now than how they've been handling this entire pandemic. You know, it's like, you know, it came out, like, this week that, like, they instituted a face mask policy
innovative.
In July, when this friggin' thing's been going on since March. They finally instituted
groundbreaking.
a strict face mask policy after Kevin Owens went to Vince McMahon, was like, you know what? Like, I'm really uncomfortable coming to work. My wife lost her grandfather to COVID. We just don't feel comfortable. I cannot come back to work unless you actually put in, like, some kind of measure to make sure people wear their
guidelines.
masks.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Kevin Owens came up with the idea to fine people. That's bad and irresponsible. They just recently, after they had a massive outbreak of about 30 or 40 people in the company.
Yeah.
And now we have more tests. Something was up with the Raw show today. According to reports, they taped 2 episodes. They taped tonight's episode, obviously, and the July 27th episode. And by all reports, it was supposed to, and this is by multiple websites, so it's not just one guy. It's not just Mike Johnson. It's also Dave. But, you know, everybody says take it with a grain of salt, of course, and you can do that. I personally, like, if the same stuff is coming from multiple sources to different people,
generally
there's
truth to it. Yeah.
The entire taping had to be rewritten. It was supposed to start around 1:00 Eastern time. They started 2 hours later, and it's because there was talent unavailable for the show. Obviously, you could see that there was a lot of people that just weren't there tonight. Apollo Crews is a COVID. He is a victim of the COVID. We don't know if he actually has COVID or if he's been around somebody that had it. But that was him not passing his pre-match physical, so he has the thing. Billie Kay, not around tonight for the Iconics.
Well,
you know, so I don't know if she has COVID or she was around somebody who had COVID. You know, still no Austin Theory.
No.
We haven't seen Austin Theory in a month and a half since all this happened. And then, of course, there's reports that Ric Flair has COVID. New York Post reported that Ric Flair texted them or whatever, or they called him, and he denied it. I will never get COVID. I will never retire, and I will never get COVID. But his wife has COVID, so he's been exposed. And all night, it was like really weird. Like, did they tape these promos like yesterday or like last week or something like that? Because they kept saying like Ric Flair's going to be in Randy Orton's corner tonight. And then Randy Orton makes his entrance. There's no Ric Flair, and there's no mention of it.
That actually very well might have been the case, the fact that they taped it previously. And I just want to say this. I'm very happy that people are starting to speak out more, though. I mean, I'm sorry that it took like an outbreak within the company for people to be like, enough is enough, Vince. Like, you can't be putting our lives on the line, you know? And like somebody like Kevin Owens, for him to do that, like to stand up to him and just be like, no, like, this is not okay, because it isn't okay. And this is a prime example of why, you know, when you talk about social distancing, when you're talking about being, you know, having these guidelines of wearing masks, because it's how easy contractable it is. And yes, there's more tests available, and yes, you're going to find the numbers as far as people and whatnot, and yes, people are, but the problem is, again, if you're asymptomatic and you have somebody who is exposed to it who has a pre-existing condition, and that goes for any virus, any flu, any whatever, you know, Ric
Flair's got a pre-existing condition of like cirrhosis of the liver, heart disease. He had
Ric Flair is the
he was in a coma.
definition of pre-existing conditions.
He
Like
was
he's
in a
the
medically
definition
induced
of
coma, had to relearn how to talk and
right.
walk.
I mean, he's somebody who should not
Send him
have
the show.
Yeah, but that's his choice too, which is very
It
unfortunate.
shouldn't be.
No.
You should take that choice away from Ric Flair because
course
he's going to make the wrong choice 9 times out of 10.
Well, he'll always make the wrong choice because he always wants to be in the good graces of WWE because he never wants to actually ever leave.
Well, that
so,
too,
yes.
but he's also been financially ruined 50 years in the business, and he just can't get his finances straight.
No, he can't.
Ric Flair finance, woo!
But that was still Doug's thing.
No, woo is Ric Flair.
No, we're gonna go wee.
That's not, I didn't say wee.
Oh, you didn't. You said woo, yeah. But honestly, I feel like more people are going to say things now, and Ric Flair will deny till the cows come home that he has COVID, but he most certainly has COVID. Like, there's no doubt about it. His wife has it. He has it. Sorry. Like, that's it. That's it. And but
it's just scary.
Okay, but but here's the thing.
They don't have a handle on this thing at all.
Here's the thing.
They don't.
There's no amount of pressure from like these networks would convince me to put my people in jeopardy, though. It just wouldn't. It just I don't care. Like, I wouldn't care.
At this point, I can't even imagine that there's pressure from the networks. It's like,
I think it's a lie.
I think it's I think WWE is, obviously, I think if you don't produce the shows, they're going to give you like a prorated amount of the money that's due to you this year. But they're not going to penalize you. It's not like, they stop production of, I don't even know what shows are on the air anymore. But what's that show with Tim Allen? The home and not the home.
Last Man Standing.
Last Man Standing.
Yeah.
So let's say they suspended production of Last Man Standing. Do you think they're like fining the producers for not producing shows during COVID? I don't think so. Like they're gonna fine WWE for not producing shows. WWE probably just doesn't want to, take a potential pay cut. Like I don't think there'd be any ramifications in terms of like, okay, well, we're going to slash your contract or cancel it.
Yeah, but again, no amount of money would
because if they did that and it came out that like Fox and USA Network, NBC Universal in this case would be forcing WWE to produce shows during a pandemic and outbreak of 40 or 50 people affected now in this company, like that would be such a bad look for them. But then again,
I don't know why they're not in trouble though.
But then again, like WWE is so woven into the fabric of Americana that they have an outbreak of maybe 40 people, or maybe even more, because like there were so many rewrites and changes that needed to be made today that the number might be over 40 now, it might be 50. Who knows? But they're so woven into the fabric of Americana that it doesn't even make news whatsoever. Nobody cares.
This just shows how many people have families, though, only because, like, if I were running this company, right, and I was if let's say Vince was like very, very adamant about having people perform, right?
Yeah. Which
he is, but there's so many families that I would literally, but it's because of the families. People want to go home and see their kids and their wives or whatever, that people are leaving. Or people are coming back and forth and doing whatever they need to do. But I would literally rent out a mansion in the area and have anybody who's like single and like you have to like quarantine and like go into that house and you can't go anywhere else. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I would have like in their contract, like, oh, you have to get food for takeout. You have to do, you can't control people. But what I'm saying is like there's so many people who have families. This is why this is like a problem, and again, because they're going out into the world and they're doing their own thing. People aren't quarantining anymore. Like, they're just not. Like, something
Florida is an absolute disaster. I mean, a complete and total disaster. They said, like, I saw a statistic the other day, like,
they never even went shut down.
Something like 4 in 5 children have like the disease or something like that. Like, they have absolutely no handle on this whatsoever. The mayors are on their own to figure this out because the governor, Ron DeSantis, is an embarrassment to politics, and that I am talking about that because all politics are embarrassing right now. No matter what side you're on, it is an embarrassing time to support any politician, and Ron DeSantis takes the cake in terms of being negligent
Well, they never
and
shut down.
shitty at his job. He is an embarrassment. He is a danger to his citizens. And so is the governor of Georgia as well. You know, like these are people that are just complete disasters.
Well, yeah,
and that's where WWE's taping. You know, like right there in Florida, where it's a complete disaster.
well, exactly. That's why people are getting because people aren't. Realistically, I don't know anybody who's actually quarantining anymore. Like legit, especially in that area, nobody's doing that. They're not.
Well, people are starting to. I guess but you have to do it on your own.
Yeah.
But then you have patriots that won't wear masks.
But there's people like Daniel Bryan. Yeah, he's going out and quarantining himself. You know, obviously for his, of course. But you're not getting everybody.
8 months pregnant.
Well, no, she's actually due like any day now.
Is she?
She is.
Oh.
Yeah, Nikki Bella's due next week, and she's due like literally any second.
Okay.
But yeah.
The more you know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, they are. They're due.
I believe you. You're the one who's on top of all that stuff, not me.
I know.
You're the one who spills the tea. I don't. I don't do stuff like that.
You don't spill tea.
But I gotta tell you though, it's man, and CJ's right. Like, you know, here in the tri-state area, I could say for New Jersey and New York, Pennsylvania is still, they're going backwards. They are going backwards. But here in New Jersey, well, really, I mean, I got to brag for New Jersey for a second, CJ, because very rarely do you ever really get a chance to truly brag about New Jersey. But of all 50 states, Vermont and New Jersey were rated the other day as being at a low risk of coronavirus, and we have a handle on this thing. We were greenlit. New York is still a medium risk, but they just went into stage 4. But New Jersey is doing well. Now, that doesn't mean that we should reopen the schools and throw everybody together. I'm not saying that. But
no, and we're still doing everything we need to do. Yeah.
We're doing a really good job, though. People are wearing masks all over the state. All over the state. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, but because we had it... We had it really bad here, and
we had it awful. So nobody had it worse in New York. You know, we can't say that, but you know, people coming from New York live here.
Yeah,
and it was devastating, and you know, I feel like a lot of people in the country felt like, okay, well, this is just something that's in New York and New Jersey, and we don't have to take this seriously. And it's like they want to keep that mindset as it spreads through this country like wildfire. You can't bury your head in the sand, and WWE is doing that very, very much, or they were doing that up until like a few weeks ago. But even so, like, you know, that's one thing that AEW really has on them. You know, they came out and told everybody their guidelines for if you're going to work for the company, this is what you got to do. You know, they put out all the things that Dr. Sampson came up with. You have to quarantine yourself before the taping. You have to notify us immediately if you've been affected by it. You know, and they're not like BSing their the people either. You know,
no,
it's like John Moxley, exposed to Renee Young. He didn't have COVID, but Renee did. So they said he has COVID and he's not going to be on the show. And here they're doing all this like pussyfooting around. It's like, oh well, Billy Kay is dealing with other business, and Apollo Crews is didn't pass a pre-match physical.
Yeah, not acknowledging it.
I'd rather them tell us that Apollo Crews has coronavirus and tell us than say he didn't pass a pre-match physical. It's like, it's number one, it's insulting to the audience, but number two, it really makes Apollo Crews look bad. How can you ever root for the freaking guy?
No, I just think, when you don't acknowledge it, it's actually worse. And I will say this, AEW has done a significantly better job than WWE as far as
they haven't had any
this.
outbreaks.
Because
and they're bringing people into Daly's place. They're bringing people into Daly's place and putting them in the upper tier, and they're friends of the sponsors. I think I already talked about this last week, but they feel comfortable enough and so strong on their rules and mandates that they're starting to bring people that aren't working for the company in to cheer and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's how much of a handle they have on this.
Right, and I don't know
that's
why.
That's pretty good for a new company.
I don't know why they wouldn't follow that model though. Like they have if you think about it, they have more opportunity and more of the resources to do that, but they're not. They just have more in their company to utilize those type of guidelines, and they just don't do it.
Right.
It's like everybody just has to get it at this point. Like to them, they're just but now look, there's like, now they're just scrounging for people like to have to wrestle, and like that's not good.
Right.
It's like you don't need that many people. You don't need that many people with right now at least, just to be working. If people need to take some time off for a little bit, while they kind of like cycle in people who are quarantining, fine, do it. But somebody like Ric Flair should not be getting it because he's choosing to go there and they're allowing him to.
Yeah.
It's kind of irresponsible to say like, oh, well, he wants to be here. Well, no, don't make him come.
I think if Ric Flair went to the Performance Center and got coronavirus and died because his health isn't that wonderful, I think WWE should be held liable for that. Especially if it happened a few weeks ago.
They won't, though.
Especially if it happened a few weeks ago when they didn't have all the stuff in place. They weren't doing
Flair.
I mean, could you imagine having all these people and not doing COVID testing every single time you do a taping? They weren't doing that until the end of June. That's psychotic.
But like you said, they weren't doing masks until the beginning of July.
Right.
So
or they weren't mandating masks where you have to you get fined if you don't wear it.
Right. But
that's scary. And
because
those are real problems. Those are real problems with the company, and that's not discounting the creative problems that this company has, because there are plenty of them, and we can talk about them on for even just in tonight's show. Things that are wrong with this company. Me, like I said, me and Doug had a great talk about it last night, but there's still more to say. And we can start that right now if you'd like.
I would like to.
You would like to? Do you have any more to say about this?
I do
insanity?
Not. I do not.
Okay. CJ makes a good point. They probably had Ric Flair sign a waiver.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense for sure.
But if you it's like you look at some of those like YouTube videos that Ric Flair did where people were just letting him release these videos and making bad decisions, when he was like hopped up on painkillers from his heart surgery. Ric Flair, I think it'd be very easy to say that he is not of sound mental state in good portions of his life. It just seems that way to me.
No.
Which is sad. That is really sad to say. Anyway, talking about Raw now. And Andrew Elder saying, looking forward to CJ and Mike getting together for the State of WWE/Wrestling.
Oh
yes.
my God, me too.
Yeah, we will. We will.
That is always my favorite.
I'm targeting that for sometime in August. I'd like to even do it as like part of like a SummerSlam, like a SummerSlam week of podcasting.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
That sounds like a good idea.
Mr. V has been asking me for quite some time to do a round table of former Raw recappers with him and Dave Stevens. I'll try to get that going. I can't guarantee that, but I think that'd be great to kind of just do some Wrestleview festivities.
Well,
for
I like that
week.
too, because it's like, obviously things aren't normal this year, so that'd be a great thing to just kind of break up the continuity of stuff. So
and from where we were last year when we did the State of the WWE and where we are this year, me and CJ have a lot to talk about.
You have a lot to catch up on.
And the good thing about CJ is like, as like editor in chief, you have to, direct content and all that stuff. And you have to wear a lot of hats. With CJ, I can just, turn on the thing and let him do all the work, and you direct me, tell me what to do. We can have that kind of conversation.
Well, I like CJ's honesty
I'm
too.
looking forward to that. Yeah, CJ's honesty.
He's not afraid to be honest, and that's very commendable.
Yeah, and he knows his media. That's for sure.
Oh, he does.
It's like if you want like a master class in what is what's what, and not just some pundit from Wrestling Inc. or some crummy website, giving you their thoughts on this. CJ's he knows what he's talking about. So. Did I put him over enough? I think people.
I think so. I think people are definitely going to.
They have to tune in now after I put him over big. Okay. Before we get started, let's take a look at the Twitter poll. Where did the thing go? Oh my goodness, that's embarrassing. Well, I wanted to show the damn Twitter poll, and the screen capture was working before. I must have screwed something up. Well, let me fix that real quick. In the meantime, I would really like to... Where the hell is it?
What's going on right now?
I'm trying to get the damn...
Do you need me to get it?
No.
Are you sure?
I got it.
You're positive?
Yes.
All right.
I minimized it. That's what the heck happened. Oops. So I'm just a fool.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. Okay.
Fail.
Anyway,
botch.
That was a complete and total fail.
Botchamania.
According to the Twitter polls, 57% of the people are giving tonight's Raw a thumbs up.
Oh.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting.
That's interesting. Let's talk about it. Show opens up with my favorite thing of all time.
Your favorite person, your favorite thing.
Not only my favorite thing, which is the long, boring promo to open up the show.
Your favorite person.
It, of course, has to be Seth Rollins doing a long, boring promo to open up the goddamn show. Oh.
All right, I'll recap it, and then I have my thoughts.
He just talks about... I don't even know what he said. It's almost 4 hours since I had to watch this, like with Seth, and it's like I can't even remember. He's like, the visual of Rey Mysterio holding his own bloody eye in his hand will stay with him forever. Even though we didn't see that, we just saw a quick glimpse of what looked like a marble, on Rey Mysterio's head.
So
like
dumb.
Him puking, basically Rollins blames the WWE Universe for him having to poke Rey Mysterio's eye out and this and that. And that's it. Yeah,
you know what I'm very disappointed with?
I have a question, though.
Okay.
Real quick. From the eye for an eye match, I don't know if me and Doug talked about this last night, but how do you press somebody's eye in on the stairs and it pops out? How the fuck does that work?
Okay.
That should crush the eye, not pop it out.
That's why it
doesn't make sense.
I wanted to say something.
Nothing makes sense.
If they were going to do this stupid match, right?
Shit.
If you're going to do a stupid match like this, you better commit to it and you better make it good.
Right.
Because I wanted to see, you know what? If they were really going to have somebody's eye come out, I want to see somebody's eye come out. All right. They should have had, if they really, because they had how many cinematic matches did they have last night?
One.
Just the one?
Yeah.
Okay. So they could have had most of the match, right? Being that we're taping, right? They got most of the match, like in ring, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But then the eye coming out be cinematic. Like something, you know what I mean? Like then it pauses and then do something else where you could tell like it's not whatever. If you're going to have something like that, commit to it and make it gory and make it good. Okay? Make it the horror show that you were talking about. Not this lame like, did he do it? Is his eye out? Is it whatever? There's no blood. There's no puss, there's no nothing.
Right. When you advertise that someone's eye is coming out, which I hated in general.
I hated it too, but I want to see
did,
somebody's eye pop out.
Honestly, no matter what they did, I was gonna fucking hate this.
Nope.
I'm not gonna lie.
No doubt.
I wasn't giving this a chance because it was so asinine and far-fetched. But you're totally right. They pussyfooted around the entire thing.
No
it's
blood,
like, okay, we're gonna pluck the guy's eye out, and then it's like, well, you just have to imagine that we did.
No, I don't
Fuck
think.
you.
No, I don't want to leave it to my imagination. Are you kidding me?
I have to imagine.
I'm not
you
imagining
have to fucking show me.
I don't want to imagine anything. I'm being here to entertain. Show me. Hello. I want somebody's eye popping out. I want somebody's, and like, no, it does not make sense. To answer your question before, it does not make sense when somebody pushes their eye against the thing and whatever. I actually, unfortunately, I know an individual whose eye came out. Nothing like that. So, at all. Doesn't look like that.
Who do you know whose eye came out?
I'm not going to talk about it, but I'll tell you later.
Okay, fine.
Anybody wants to know, direct me message me directly. I don't want to talk about it on air. But it looks not. There's a lot of blood. I'll just tell you that much.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. But like, Like this was so much like when you go to like a concert and like the guy's voice is all blown out and he wants you to sing the song. It's like, no, fuck it, you sing it to me. I paid to hear you. I paid to hear you sing. I don't want to have to fucking imagine the guy's eye out. You have to show me at this point, and I'm gonna hate it no matter what. Like I said, there was no chance that I was gonna like this. I'm telling you flat out, I usually give everything a chance in WWE. I was not giving this a chance. I hated the stipulation from the get-go, and I knew it was just going to be shit, and I thought they were going to do a CGI thing or some kind of
that's what I'm saying. I thought
cinematic
they were
match, but they didn't even do that.
No, they could have had a portion of it be
They said to the
cinematic.
fans, "You're fucking idiots for watching this." That's what they told us. That's what they said. That's what they said. We're fucking idiots for watching this.
I don't know. I feel,
and
yeah.
and we were.
Yeah,
I felt like it.
Well, you know why I feel like a fool? Because I really thought they might have actually had somebody's eye come out, and no. Fake nothing. You could fake an eye popping out. You can. It's possible. Happens all the time.
It's ridiculous.
But anyways,
it's absurd. And
in
anyway.
reference to this with the promo that was cut in the beginning.
Oh yes, Victoria.
Okay.
Please try to defend.
I'm not defending anything, and you're going to think I'm defending it when I talk about it. I'm not defending it, but when I talk about this, though, I just want to put things in a little bit of perspective. This was crap all over. Like there was no way that you could make this good in any which way or form, even if they committed to the whole eye coming out thing. However, this I will say with Seth Rollins. I don't know how much he speaks up in terms of like storylines and everything else, but I will say this though, I'm not sure what he was saying tonight. I know he was like, blaming the fans, doing that and whatever.
You did this,
right? But he did a good job with it, like in the sense of no, not the content. None of it made sense. It's a boring storyline. It's stupid. It's whatever. But what I'm saying is, it's like Seth Rollins to me is a good talker. Like I always like his delivery, and I felt like for this he really did try to make it like I feel like even in his own mind he thinks this is stupid, but he's obviously has to follow through with it because it's the storyline he's put into. And again, I don't know how much he speaks up against. I don't think he does. I think he's a little bit of a yes man when it comes to the company. I do.
If you're addicted to sleeping pills, you like his delivery. Like honestly, like.
No, I don't.
His delivery stinks.
I don't think so,
it's
though.
Boring.
Again, I'm not. I don't though. I think he very much knows how to speak. I just think what he's talking about doesn't make any sense. So that's why you're not into it, though. But his delivery and execution has never been a problem. His
execution's boring. It makes me want to turn off television. That's not good.
See, for me, I disagree.
But so you when you see him, you're like, oh, I want to continue watching this.
I want to see. I just think he has a certain tone in his voice.
I think he's
and diction that I think he delivers.
I think he's delivering it the way WWE tells him to deliver it, which is a problem that there's okay. So he's supposed to be
I think
cult
he's a yes
leader.
man.
Okay,
I do think he's a yes man, but
But he's supposed to be a cult leader, okay? He's supposed to be like Jesus. They keep making the Messiah references and Jesus references. Jesus, like, read the Gospels. The guy was charismatic. He had stories. He knew how to get people to follow him. What is so like he should be like Jim Jones or somebody crazy like that, a charismatic person, kind of doing like the Southern. I'm not saying be like Brother Love and do the Southern Baptist gimmick, but like something like that where he's engaging and almost makes you want to follow him. Jesus, if Jesus did that, we'd all still be Jewish.
Well,
if you're a Christian, you'd still be Jewish.
Okay.
Because there would be no Christianity if Jesus was that boring. No way. No way.
But here's the thing, though.
I don't even know why. I don't even know how I'm literally comparing Seth Rollins to Jesus right now.
Okay, and you literally are doing what he did because you make no sense. But anyways.
It makes total sense.
No.
What are you talking about? Tell me how that didn't make sense.
The reason why this is flopping the way it is because they're not making the character like that. But they're also Buddy Murphy, right? He's the only one who's following him. AOP, right? They're gone. Like for now, right?
Yeah.
Who's injured? Okay.
Akam, I think, or Razor.
Yeah, they're injured, right? And they're not coming back. I think the idea was at the time to have AOP, Buddy Murphy, to have more people coming in and following him and whatever, but they stuck him in this stupid storyline with Rey Mysterio. He looks stupid with this cult-like leader and this messiah with literally one person behind him, right? Yeah, it looks dumb. What I'm saying is, though, he has nothing to go off of. I'm not saying they should continue the storyline. I'm not even saying that he's doing this amazing job. What I'm saying is, though, I think for the circumstances that he's in, I'm not going to bash on the guy because I think he delivered it pretty well in the sense of, like, the seriousness of it. I think he knows how to cut, like, a serious promo, if that makes sense. The charismatic thing... Yeah, there's some people like Bianca Belair, Zelina Vega. We talked about that. Asuka, no crowd, no problem. Doesn't matter. They have all the charisma in the world. They don't need to feed off a crowd to get you engaged. Seth Rollins, obviously, though, needs some sort of like actual authentic crowd in order for him to perform. But I don't think for this tonight, I don't think he did horribly. I did think it's a stupid storyline. It's really hard to convince anybody that this is something that you should be actually interested in. That's my whole thing. I think if you put even the most charismatic person in the world, I don't know if you're going to get the storyline to convince itself that it was actually good with an eye for an eye. Maybe somebody like
I'm just saying.
Who would you? Okay, I'm saying who would you put into it? Then?
I'm saying you can say crazy shit.
You can all you want
and make it work if you add a little flair to it.
I don't know about that.
Look at Bray Wyatt. His entire career is built on that. Nothing the guy says makes any sense if you actually look at a transcript.
But it's Bray Wyatt, though.
But that's my point.
No.
He's charismatic. He delivers it in a way where it's like kind of like that sing-song, man. You know, like it doesn't matter that I'm talking about
Bray Wyatt can get somebody
a pencil.
I don't even know if Bray Wyatt can convince somebody an eye for an eye match is legitimate.
Well, you're right because look at what happened with the Wyatt Swamp fight last night. That was this whole shit show too.
I just don't think it's I don't think it's convincing.
I'm not. We're not even talking about the eye for an eye match.
We are talking about that because
no, we're not. We're talking about Seth Rollins.
Yes, because in theory, if somebody is able to make it convincing, then you would be interested in it. But it's a hard storyline to sell.
I'm not talking about the storyline. I'm talking about Seth Rollins.
Yes,
the way
you are.
I am not. I'm telling you that I'm talking about Seth Rollins and the way he delivers his promos. It sucks.
Okay, but I'm telling you right now,
nothing could get over the eye for an eye match.
No,
nothing.
And I think that's what you're reverting back to.
But nothing's getting. But nothing's getting Seth Rollins over in general. I've been talking about this for months.
Yeah,
because
you have
eye for an eye.
Hater.
What?
You're a Seth Rollins hater.
I'm not a Seth Rollins hater. Who was a bigger fan of Seth Rollins in 2018, 2019 than me?
I know.
Who?
I know.
Who was
Why are you yelling at me?
I'm just asking. Who was advocating for Seth Rollins
to
win Royal Rumble and be the champion and run with him? I definitely was. I think it's the thing. This heel turn has been completely botched, just like every other fucking thing that this company does. They touch everything they touch turns to shit. It's like you could like they had a chance. You know, when Seth Rollins was turning heel in December, it was like, okay, you know, do the Monday Night Messiah thing. He's coming to save Raw and whatever. But then it's like they start putting some Jesus aspects in there. It's fine. And now it's like, okay, go out there and cut the most monotone, boring fucking promo ever. Let's see how many people will turn off the television. That's like that seems to be the goal right now. There's nothing redeeming about the Seth Rollins character.
Saying it's redeeming. I'm just saying it wasn't terrible. It's an agree to disagree type situation. I just don't think he did that badly as you're making it out to be. That's all I'm saying. And you're entitled.
Yeah, he probably did worse than I'm making it out to be.
And you're entitled.
He probably did worse.
You're entitled to your opinion for sure. You're entitled to your opinion. I just disagree with you. I don't think it was horrible. I wasn't completely falling asleep watching it, is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying tonight was his worst, but it's not.
I think you're a little critical of him now. I do.
This is like when we go back and evaluate the career of Seth Rollins in another 15 years when he hangs it up.
I'm not going to say this is the best thing that's ever happened to him or even his best work.
This period in his career is going to be like the black hole of his career.
No doubt about it. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I just don't think it's as bad as you're making it out to be. You're missing the point of my argument. Is what I'm saying.
What is your argument?
My argument is it's not as bad as you're making out to be. It wasn't a complete snooze fest.
I'm not even talking about that one pro. I'm talking about him in general.
Yeah, it's not working right now.
The way he delivers his crap.
I disagree. I don't think it's as bad as you're making out to be overall. I just don't. Is this his most shining moment in his career? Absolutely not. But not nearly as bad as you're making out to be. And you're entitled to your opinion. That's all I'm saying. I don't agree with you. I don't have to.
I don't even think I'm. I think I'm actually laying back on how bad it is.
I think you're being critical.
I think I'm being. I don't think I'm being critical enough. He is. I mean,
you just yelled at me for like 5 minutes.
I would love to see the numbers, like the segment numbers when he's out there compared to other people. Oof. I can't imagine.
And no one's disagreeing with you on that. I'm just saying it's not as bad though.
All right. If you think that's good.
Who said I said it was good?
Well, you're saying it's not bad.
But I'm not saying it's good either. I said
so what is it?
Okay. It's all right.
It lives in the limbo of
terrible.
just there.
It's just there. It's not terrible.
But so you're saying if you were just a casual fan flipping through the channels, that would capture you and you'd want to continue watching.
Who said that?
I'm asking you.
I'm asking as a fan. Like I'm just saying as for me personally, I don't think it's as bad.
All right.
And I'm allowed to my opinion.
Yes, you are allowed to your opinion, no matter how incorrect it is.
Oh my gosh, you're the worst.
I'm just saying. Anyway, so Aleister Black comes out and talk about a guy who needs a manager. I mean, luckily they kept his speaking to a minimum too. Otherwise, this would have been
well, that's where I almost lost it.
It would have been a dumpster fire of a segment if they allowed Aleister Black to go for 5 minutes. The guy just he's good in the ring, but on the promos, that ain't it, man. That just ain't it. They wind up having a match: Seth Rollins with Murphy versus Aleister Black. Rollins and Murphy try to attack Aleister before the match starts. He fights him off. Aleister hits Seth Rollins with Black Mass, but he falls out of the ring. Then he hits Murphy with Black Mass. We go to commercial, so that automatically signals to me that Aleister Black is not winning this. They did a good job in this match, I have to say. For, as much as I rail against Seth Rollins in his promos and his character and the shit that they're writing for him, because it just is shit. And the storylines are mostly shit. The guy can still go in the ring. He's still really good. That's the thing that was the tragedy of the eye for an eye match last night. Him and Rey Mysterio went out there and actually had a really good match.
Of course. They didn't need it. They didn't need this storyline to make
They
it
didn't
sell
need
it.
that stipulation.
No, absolutely not.
It could have been a street fight. It could have been...
It literally could have been anything.
A blindfold match. It could have been anything other than pluck the fucking guy's eye out.
Yeah.
And it would have been good. But they had a great match leading up to that. It's just unfortunate that it was marred completely by that ridiculousness.
Yeah, that's all anybody thought about during the entire time.
That's all you thought about, and
yeah.
that's all you remembered. You don't remember... the great back and forth. You don't remember
Absolutely
the Falcon Arrow on the apron. You just remember the stupid marble on Rey Mysterio's head. It's like, come on, give me a break. Anyway, they had a great match here. Rollins worked over the arm the entire time. He hits him with a stomp. The only thing I didn't really like is because they've been building up Aleister Black for so long, and he's only had a few pinfall losses. He did lose to AJ Styles in March by pin, but that was after facing Gallows and Anderson leading up to that, and that led to the Elimination Chamber match.
Mm-hmm.
He also lost to Seth Rollins in May, and now he loses Seth Rollins here by pinfall. Pretty clean, I would say. I would say it was pretty clean.
Fairly, yeah.
Fairly clean. Murphy did get involved, but Rollins hits him with the stomp. Rollins goes down and is recovering himself before crawling over and covering for the win. I usually don't like things like that because it's usually when they do stuff like that, the guy kicks out, and when he doesn't, it's like, okay, chump change. But they attack his arm after, so they kind of did a good job setting up, a return match for Aleister Black. They stomped his arm into the commentary table. I thought that was a really good angle. I'm just really scared that it's going to lead to an arm for an arm match where the only way to win is cutting your opponent's arm off now or something ridiculous like that.
You just have to pop it out of its socket.
You just have to you have to literally rip the guy's arm out of its socket.
That will be a cinematic match, hopefully.
That'll be your cinematic match. And it'll be completely...
Don't give any ideas. Somebody listening to this podcast will be like, hey, you know what? I was listening to Mike Tedesco on Wrestleview. On the post-Raw show, and they were talking about arm for an arm.
I know you told us not to not to watch any podcasts or any shit like that, but this one guy had a killer fucking idea. Cut the guy's arm off. God damn it. Great idea. Great idea.
Wait.
Oh.
Cue you.
Okay, I'm going to cue... Hold on. I'm trying to cue myself. Where's the damn OBS? Okay, here we go. Yeah, we got to break him out again. Yeah, arm for an arm. That would be a scary proposition, and one that I would not discount them coming up with. Okay, so tonight, the Hurt Business. Oh God, hold on. Let me pull up OBS. Okay. Don't do it. Whatever you're gonna do, do not do.
It's such good shit.
Don't do arm for an arm, man. Please, Vince, don't do it, man. Okay, so the Hurt Business adds a new member. They add a new board member tonight in Shelton Benjamin, who defeats R-Truth for the 24/7 championship. I like that a lot. I love MVP expanding his stable, and Shelton Benjamin is a guy who can definitely go, and he would fit right in there as, like, you know, a worker bee in that stable where he, you know, goes out and, you know, carries the majority of matches, like he did the tag match tonight. Like he took a lot of offense and stuff like that. What was the deal though? Like, why did they have Ron Simmons just like poking around backstage, and there was like no payoff to that? It was like so weird.
I don't know.
Ron Simmons was talking with MVP and Bobby Lashley, and then he was talking with the Viking Raiders.
Maybe it's just like one of those things where it's
And that was it.
Maybe there will be a payoff in the future, and they just want to kind of like have it in your mind. I don't know. I'm not.
What are you paying off with
I don't know.
Ron Simmons though?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Ron Simmons hasn't had a match since 2004, and he's not gonna come back and manage, is he? Like,
Well, maybe he is. I don't know.
initially, like when I saw him with MVP and Bobby Lashley, and he's like, "Remember,
Also,
there's
just like a
another
rating thing.
way," and they fist bumped. I was like, maybe he was like giving him some secrets from like the Nation of Domination. But then he goes and talks to the Viking Raiders later on.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll have to keep an
Can
eye
you
out, though.
explain? Just good shit. That's all it is. Damn. Okay, Vince. Thank you.
Really,
Wow.
that was an epic fail.
That went nowhere.
What is that dropped?
That was just the thing holding our cameras together. Okay. Anyway, show's going up the tracks. Got to get this thing back on the tracks here. So the Hurt Business is going to face Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. They come out and, okay, so what me and Doug were talking about last night was shitty promos, and what we just had a long conversation about was shitty promos with Seth Rollins. These scripted promos are fucking death in this company. Absolute and complete and total death. It's got to end. You got to, like it's over. Like if they continue this way, I mean, the promo that Ricochet and Cedric Alexander cut tonight, I dare you, try to tell me that me and Doug were wrong in what the hell we were saying last night. I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm talking to the listener and the viewer. I dare you to try and tell me that Ricochet saying, MVP, you're not a champ, you're a chump. Tell me that that's a good fucking promo.
I never.
Tell me that scripted promo was good.
And
I'll tell you, you don't know shit about fucking professional wrestling.
Listen. Ricochet makes me get shingles. Like, he's gonna get me shingles one day.
Ricochet makes me sad. I feel.
I don't even know. Like, ever since, and I say this all the time, ever since he said to Brock Lesnar, "Why not me?" I just never took him seriously.
You never forgot that.
I will never forget that. It's embedded in my mind.
I remember when Super Showdown was happening, and you heard the video package, and it's just like, why not me? And then every single analyst that was doing the
Even
pre-show
Charlie
all
Caruso.
go, Ricochet's got no chance.
And literally, Charlie Caruso was.
Charlie Caruso's like, this guy has no chance, right? Right? I guess why not him, but he's got no chance.
No, I'm sorry, but like that was like the sentence, like that was the climax to it all of his career, and me with the promo saying, "Why not me?" He will never. It's gonna take a really long time for him to get my respect back, and me to take him seriously.
If he continues cutting
after
promo like that, he'll never get respect from anybody. It's so apparent that he is going nowhere fast.
Hey, I wrote that.
It's so apparent that he's going nowhere fast. Like without a manager, like these two really need MVP. I mean, that's not even a joke anymore.
Okay, but they need MVP.
It's not even a storyline anymore. They just need MVP.
You know what they should say? MVP should literally just go up to them and be like, "You guys need me so bad because you both just suck."
Well, he's like, you two belong in catering, and I'm like, the heel is fucking right here. He's absolutely right.
They don't even.
He's
belong
not wrong.
In catering. They belong in like.
They don't belong on Raw. That's for sure. Where you have to have a character.
They have to go to
carry
NXT.
Yourself. They belong in NXT, where you can get by with having no character.
No, you know what? They actually belong backstage.
Yeah, anything.
Running the camera.
Oh man, I mean, what the. I mean, nothing was good in this thing. Like the whole Dumb and Dumber.
There should be a GIF of just why not me.
Why not me? I gotta watch his 365 Ricochet, the WWE 365 with Ricochet, where he started off with like really hot, and it was like him and Aleister Black. Him and Aleister Black were a tag team. And he's at WrestleMania. He's stealing the show. Like in like the tag matches him and Aleister Black were having together, and then like the slow gradual decline where Vince just gave up on him, and he gave up on him after the King of the Ring tournament. Jesus, like that has to be the most depressing ending to a 365 I can't even fucking imagine, because they're like, oh, it ends with Super Showdown. So it starts with Ricochet getting called up, and then it ends with the Super Showdown. It's like, wow, what a fucking wet fart way to end that documentary. Jesus. I mean, like, at least like the Kevin Owens 365, it started off with Vince telling him to his face that his WrestleMania match sucked, and then it ends with Kevin Owens redeeming himself at WrestleMania. It's supposed to end on a happy note, not on like, you're fucked and your jobber bitch fodder now. Like, that's Ricochet's career. That's it.
It's just a big wet fart.
And Ricochet has to like go online and say, no, everything's great. Well, anyway, Mustafa Ali's back, who allegedly was supposed to be the hacker. That whole storyline disappeared, and now Mustafa Ali is back doing a retread of stuff that he was doing a year ago, with the shiny lights and all that stuff. And he's significantly less over than the last time we saw him.
He's not Ali.
And it will
He's Mustafa Ali.
He's Mustafa Ali again. He's allowed to be Mustafa Ali.
Okay, because remember when he was just Ali?
Yeah, he was just Ali, and then they gave him back the Mustafa thing because he's like, well, it'll empower, Middle Eastern people if I'm allowed to be called Mustafa.
Exactly.
And they're like,
supposed to represent his culture and his, ethnicity. So.
Well, the Hurt Business, they basically dominated this match forever. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I love the Hurt Business. I love the whole stable. I love the concept of it.
It's fantastic.
And then like at the end they had a small little flourish, and Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and Mustafa Ali. Mustafa, who only did the 450 splash. I see like on his return. This was a great spot. That high angle. Suicide dive was sick.
He's so talented.
That was really sick.
And that was something
really cool.
And I felt like
Lashley sold that like he got shot out of a cannon. That was that is sweet.
Honestly,
man.
like to me, that was more of like a moment than a spot. That was kind of cool because when you're returning, that's something you want to see. So you want to make it memorable. So but it wasn't just for the sake. To me, it wasn't for the sake of just having that. It was because he was returned, like to kind of show you again, like this is what I bring to the table in my matches.
But he really should have done the inverted 450 splash, because that's like more impressive than just like a regular 450.
Yeah, no, I agree. I could agree with that.
It's like you're doing your return match. You should want to wow.
Yeah,
people.
You really want to wow people even more. But it was still impressive nonetheless.
It was a quick match, and they pinned and guess what? They pinned MVP, who's a self-proclaimed United States champion. Although it's like they took the title off of Sami Zayn because he wasn't defending the title in like 30 days or whatever BS excuse they came up with. And it's like, well, Apollo Crews hasn't defended that title in even longer than that, and he still gets to keep the title. Very strange.
Well, now he's got the COVID, so
I guess they don't
we
want to
have
punish
to feel
him.
bad for him.
But that's why Sami Zayn took off, because he didn't want to get the COVID.
I know.
And they took the title off him.
I know.
Anyway, Randy Orton cuts a promo on beating up the Big Show tonight.
Love Randy Orton.
Christian appears and says that his life hasn't been the same and his life sucks since getting kicked in the head by Orton, but he's hoping that Big Show will knock Orton's ass out. Peyton Royce, all by her lonesome, faces Ruby Riot because Billie Kay is not there, and neither is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is still not there.
Mm-hmm.
No Lana, no Natalya, no Nia Jax. We haven't seen her in a while.
Well, Lana didn't it come out that Rusev has it?
Rusev has it.
And her parents have it.
Her parents have it or
Yes.
had it. So that's all going on. But I'm just saying, like, these are all... Mandy Rose hasn't been around in forever. Otis, we haven't seen him in a while.
No.
You know, did anybody remember that Otis is the Money in the Bank, like Mr. Money in the Bank? Like, God, I feel so bad for that guy.
The only reason why I remember is because of TikTok.
Yeah, there you go. Ruby Riot beats Peyton Royce, and she sold it like it was a really big deal, and I sold it as like, was that a 2-minute match? Because it felt like 20.
That was like the most. So we were feeding Liliana at that point,
It felt
and
so long.
no, it did, and I felt like I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the most boring thing she could watch while she's eating right now.
I know. It's like
Poor thing.
But that's a perfect way to put a baby to sleep if you want. If you want to put the baby down, just put
Do you
on.
remember the other night when you had a hard time falling asleep? And just go put wrestling on.
Oh my God,
and
that
you
was
fell
like,
asleep instantly.
When you're tired, honestly, it's like there's no sleeping pill more powerful than watching professional wrestling when you're sleepy. It's like if you need something to just put you over the edge,
an episode of
turn
Raw.
on like a WCW pay-per-view from like 1995. Sweet dreams. You might sleep longer than 8
You
hours.
should have like a.
You might sleep longer.
You should have like a sleep training program.
Yeah, but honestly, like like it was at that point, like, God, the show is getting long, and
Yeah,
I looked at the time, and it was only like
That's why I'm
9:30.
surprised at the poll in the
like,
beginning of the show with the 57% in the favor of liking it, just because it did. It was very, very long tonight.
Yeah, it really felt like a long show, and it felt like because they're missing people and they had to rewrite it, that it just didn't have the same flow that the
just like puzzle
shows
pieces.
that the previous weeks have had. You know, like where like segments go from one to the next.
It's
like,
missing a lot.
It was missing a lot tonight.
For sure. There's it was like fragmented parts of it, you know.
So the Street Profits are back, and they face Andrade and Angel Garza. The Street Profits beat them handily, no issue. Non-title match. I love Montez Ford. I love Angela Dawkins. They are so charismatic. They're so athletic. The two of them. Dawkins, an athletic big man. It's like, you know, we talked about Big E being an athletic, you know, big dude and stuff like that. But I think Angela Dawkins is probably even more talented.
Do you want to know why I like the both of them together?
But Montez Ford, he could be like the next Rock. He is that much charisma.
Do you know why I like the both of them? Because generally in a tag team, there's the shining star out of the two. Like, you know, they mesh well together, but if you separate them, they're kind of like blah. Some of that sometimes one person winds up being the star and the other person kind of winds up just being like
the old Jannetty, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, but them you can't say they both don't have star quality. Like they both, like, eventually when I don't want them to ever break up, but eventually when they do kind of go separately, they are a force to be reckoned with on their own individually. I wholeheartedly believe that. It's hard to determine, like, oh no, that person's going to be like that and that person's going to be like, no. I don't think with both of them. I think they both have a very nice career ahead of them for themselves. So
Absolutely.
I love them together.
Yeah, they're a tremendous tag team, and this is a quick match. Kind of gave good little pick me up, and then it's time to address the debacle that is the fucking Raw Women's Championship right now, with Sasha Banks essentially stealing the title from Asuka, and Asuka is so weak that she was at ringside with Sasha Banks standing right there, and she never got her fucking title back. It's completely unclear if she's even still the champion, because they had Stephanie McMahon appear on screen, and man, did she look tired. She looked like she did not want to be doing that Skype promo or whatever it was. But basically the gist is that, you know, the match at Extreme Rules last night was a horror show. And I'm like, yeah, the fucking finish was, because you overbooked it to death. Sasha Banks, you didn't win last night, but neither did you, Asuka. So next week on Raw, we're going to have a championship match to determine who is the rightful Raw Women's title holder. Asuka is the rightful holder of the title. It was a fucking no contest. How many no contests have we had forever? Like the title's never held up on a no contest, never. And now it's held up. Why?
Again, the inconsistency.
Because they overbook the fuck out of everything. And as they overbook, they devalue anything that's worth watching. Yes, I get it. The titles are a prop, but the minute you stop believing that they're worth being interested in, there's no reason to be interested in the program itself. You need to protect the titles.
You and Doug spoke
they're props.
You and Doug spoke about this last night in regards to the inconsistency. And correct me if I'm wrong if this is what you were talking about.
I mean,
this was with the when Bayley did what she did last night, right?
Yeah.
And then you talked about how Apollo Crews, though, didn't qualify, like, for his match or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much that happens that it's like it's okay for one part or one storyline, but not for the other. And that's where I have an issue for, with all this. It's like there's so much, like, back and forth of... even, okay, Nia Jax was the one who said, like, to Asuka at the time, you didn't earn your title, right? Like, Becky Lynch just gave it to you, right? But then Sasha Banks, right? Like, she did what she did. So none of it makes sense. Again, there's no consistency. You could do one thing in one match, one thing in another. One storyline could go this way, the other one could go the other way. And it just makes it so annoying, actually. I just get annoyed. And especially with the women's division. Because now it's like, again, we have it's lacking in to begin with. Don't do something stupid. Like, Asuka is a great champion because she's one of the only ones who has charisma at this point. And again, out of the two right now, I like Sasha Banks more than Bayley, But I don't like what's going on with this.
Yeah.
Like, she's the definitive champion. But because something happened in this storyline that makes it, like, questionable, but in another storyline it wouldn't be questionable, it's stupid.
Well, by this stupid fucking logic, the no contest in the Hell in a Cell with Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman should just be held up forever.
Right.
But there should be no champion.
That's
still.
Exactly.
It's just like it's just poor storytelling. That's all it is. That's the problem that I have with it. And it's like yeah, you can make the argument that it's something and it's just something to get you kind of talking about it, but
no, but it's nothing.
Really,
it's, you don't want to talk about
this is the shit that I was
like
talking about with the 24/7 title when I got really, really mad when they introduced the 24/7 title. And you can go back and look at that rant that I did, and it's legendary. Daniel Schell always brings it up to me. But my point is like, yes, I get it. The titles are props, and like they're not actual. You're not the champion of the world if you hold this prop belt. But the prop belt is what this show is built around.
Or at least it should be.
And it is, in a sense. Everybody's kind of going for it or doing something to go about getting it. Or if you're a tag team, you're going for the titles and stuff like that.
Right.
The minute you stop believing in the worthiness and the worth of that title, it's like why even watch the show? It's like they don't have enough characters or personalities to keep you drawn to the show. Or it's like, okay, well, the title is a nothing piece of shit prop, but this guy's really entertaining, so I'll just keep watching. It's not. They don't really have that.
No.
And like the women's title, they built it so well. With Becky Lynch holding the title for a long time, over a year. From the WrestleMania match, and before that it was Ronda Rousey. This is a serious title, the Raw Women's Championship. They did a great job of making it, mean something. And then you do something like this, and you run the risk of seriously devaluing the title in the average fan's eyes. Like forget the hardcore wrestling fans, the people, if they even have average viewers that tune in anymore. Those people are probably thinking like. The fuck?
But even not only
bullshit.
Devaluing it in general for WWE, but devaluing it for the women in WWE, which the Bellas this week were doing little throwbacks to like Evolution, right? And like how that all started with them and with the Women's Revolution and everything like that. And for all those women to like work up to that point to getting like a serious, to bring some sort of value into the into the title for the women, right? again, that just makes it really bad for them. You can't do that with it's with the women's division. It's always like a slippery slope, and you don't ever want to get off the trails again where it's not considered to be serious. So to do stupid things like that, you run into that trouble.
Yeah.
We're already struggling with talent within the company, regardless, because of the circumstances with COVID. And you already ran the risk well before COVID with the amount of superstars that they're having for the women's division, and who like serious like opponents for like somebody like Becky Lynch at the time and whatever. Don't do something stupid on the semantics and like the lack of common sense with the title. It's just it doesn't look good for like this revolution. It's continuing. It's going to be continued revolution. We haven't stopped. Like, you can never stop when it comes to women. You just can't.
Right.
Because people will lose interest immediately. You don't want it to become that bathroom break again. And for me, when I was watching anything to do with the women tonight, I immediately lost interest. That's not good.
Yeah. And you know, we're 5 years removed from the women's revolution or evolution or whatever stupid corporate name they put on it. Who have they really built other than like the original few? It's like me and Doug talked about that last night. It's just like Asuka. That's it.
Yeah. Everybody else is gone. Like, anybody who's like really seriously part of it.
Yeah. Carmella is like nowhere to be seen.
No.
You know, I don't get it. Anyway, so reports came out today that apparently Kairi Sane, her last day is today. That remains to be seen if that is actually true. That's the report. I did report it because it was all around. She is supposedly moving back to Japan to be with her husband, who she married, I believe, this past February.
Okay.
Or it was either January or February she got married. So now she's moving back. So obviously, you know, she worked today's tapings. She faced SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. It remains to be seen if she'll be used next week. I'm actually guessing she probably will be used for next week's taping, which was taped today as well.
Yeah, then that will be it.
For but like, you know, in order to take her out, and she's ending her time with the company on good terms. She pinned Bayley tonight. That's how much they think of Kairi Sane. If this is her last night, she pinned Bayley, so they think highly of her, and I'm sure they believe that she'll be back at some point.
Yeah, I think probably with everything going on within the company and our country right
with
now,
the travel restrictions and stuff like that, she probably just wants to be home with her husband.
Yeah,
and, you know, when all this blows over, I'll come back. You know,
does she have any children?
No.
So maybe she wants to start a family too.
That's very possible as well. It's very possible as well. I expect we will see Kairi.
I don't think it would be
again.
the last of her.
I don't think this is the last we're seeing. But, you know, they thought highly enough of her to let her pin Bayley in a non-title match tonight. And they actually had a good match. I have to say, Kairi Sane looked really good. She looked fired up here.
She's another one who looks great, always.
They had Shayna Baszler watching the match, though. And since they're doing a women's title match next week on Raw, I fully expect Shayna Baszler to get involved in that match somehow. Either hold the title up in abeyance because she interferes in it, or whatever it is. And there's, you know, a triple threat at SummerSlam with Asuka, Sasha, and Shayna, or just Asuka and Shayna, or whatever it is. But if you're going to take Kairi Sane out, have her on the next taping, which was taped today already. So it's probably already done being taped.
Yeah.
And have Shayna Baszler take her out.
Yeah.
To send a message to Asuka. I expect Asuka to take the title. And
that would be a really nice setup.
And I think that would be a great way to set up the SummerSlam match by having Shayna Baszler hurt or take Kairi out.
Perfect way to set it up.
And yes, I think it's the perfect way to set up too. So naturally, that means they probably won't fucking do it.
No, Kairi Sane will probably just like
Kairi Sane will just
away.
She's going she's gonna like disintegrate like in the Avengers. She's just gonna just waste away. Someone's gonna snap their fingers and she's gonna CGI out of there, because that's what they do now. You know, you have fucking Braun Strowman standing over himself. We're looking in Braun's imagination or Braun's acid trip, and now it's been. Sorry, this is professional wrestling. It's too fucking far out what they did with that Wyatt Swamp fight. No way, not happening. Anyway, it's a good idea. They probably won't do it.
Expect not to see that next week.
So Drew McIntyre is out there, and he's saying that he wants a worthy opponent for SummerSlam because that's their biggest show since WrestleMania, where he beat Brock Lesnar. So he's basically telling you the show you watched last night we didn't think much of it. We don't consider it to be a big show, and that's why it sucked. Dolph Ziggler comes out and he wants to face Drew McIntyre again, and Drew's like, I let you pick the stipulation. I gave you your match. You lost. Now bugger off. Fuck off, man, essentially.
Bye.
And he's completely right. He's completely and totally right. Ziggler keeps begging. And then Ziggler
Please.
says, you can pick the stipulation
Please,
and
Drew,
the place.
can I have some more?
And McIntyre said, fine, if I can pick the stipulation, I'm not going to tell you what it is until the bell rings. But apparently that's not the case. They are letting Drew McIntyre tell him the stipulation next week. I don't know if the match is going to be next week, but they're letting him. He's going to say the stipulation next week. So, so we have to sit through that. I fully expect that SummerSlam is going to be Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Now that Orton's done with Big Show, I think he's
That would be a great matchup.
That would be a really great match.
I would really
think
look
Orton
forward
versus,
to that too.
I think Orton versus Drew McIntyre would be
And do you think that would be
fucking
the main
awesome.
event?
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah. I mean, Braun Strowman as champion doesn't deserve to be on the undercard. He doesn't deserve to be on the kickoff show. The momentum sucks so bad. And seeing one more fucking Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt match, no, I'm done.
You know what's funny?
I'm so
is
done with
for
that.
like, they just don't have good chemistry at all. It's actually incredible.
Well, it's like, who cares? It's like Braun Strowman came into the Wyatt family when the Wyatt family was dying.
But also,
And now
he
we're
came into
supposed to care about it?
But he was in it for like 2 seconds.
Right. He was in it for 2 seconds
I
and he
think
disappeared
everyone-
because he couldn't work yet.
I think everybody remembered Daniel Bryan being part of the Wyatt family more than
That's a
than
great
Braun
point.
Strowman
That's a great
being
point.
part of
Yes.
it.
Yes. So, anyway, that sucked.
At least I do.
Yeah, so Drew McIntyre's got to mess around with Dolph Ziggler one more time. And finally, we have the unsanctioned match with the Big Show taking on Randy Orton. I like this match a lot.
I do too.
It was smoke and mirrors. Randy Orton, of course, beats him after using chairs, draping DDT, 2 RKOs. He beats him, kicked out of a choke slam.
I am loving Randy Orton.
I
right
love
now.
Randy Orton, everything that he's doing. Big Show was great in this. And you know what was really awesome about this match? It's like, we just sat through all this crap tonight and, matches with just stuff going on for the sake of just having stuff. And, we sat through that entire Extreme Rules pay-per-view last night. It was just complete and total shit from top to bottom. The wrestling was actually good, but everything was either overbooked or the stipulations fucked the match, like the tables match with, last night, like New Day versus Nakamura and Cesaro could have been a wonderful, great match, and it was fucking completely stunted by the tables match stipulation.
Nakamura couldn't even open a table.
Right. Everything about like last night was hindered by their stipulations and their overbooking. Like everything.
Yeah.
And so it was really refreshing to watch 2 guys go in there in an unsanctioned match, but 2 guys that know how to work and get through stuff and play to their strengths. Go in there and work a smart match and get through it, and it was really good. It was a masterclass in actual pro wrestling.
Well, yeah, because
where everything means something. Every move, like Randy Orton didn't do a somersault senton and spear him off the apron and DDT him on glass, and it's not the finish. Like everything that they did, every move, every punch, everything had to do leading up to the finish. Everything. That's how professional wrestling should be. And that's why it was such an intriguing match, and it was an easy watch, and it was refreshing to watch. Like, these guys are from a generation 20, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Big Show's case, it's over 30 years ago. Is it? Yeah. Wait. No, it's 25 years ago. 25. Close to 30 though. He's been doing it forever. They're from a generation where it's like, you're taught to, make everything mean something, and they go out there and they do it. Like this generation is like, let's fit as much shit as we can into a 3-minute match, and none of it means anything. And it's like, it's just, everything's just a big blur. I can go through this match and kind of remember everything that they did. And yeah, granted, I watched it just a little over 2 hours ago, but I can go back and piece through everything and say like, okay, that made sense. That made sense. That made sense. And it's not a big blur.
There wasn't throwaway stuff in it.
There was not 1 second of that match.
It wasn't a spot
that
fest.
Was a throwaway.
It was.
And Big Show is not like known as like the best worker ever. I think he actually got really good. The last 10 years of his career, he's been really, really good. You know, probably from when I started recapping SmackDown in 2008 is kind of when it clicked for Big Show. And he's been really good since then, good to serviceable, you know? And before that, really, he's always been trying to find himself. Randy Orton is just on another plane right now. Of excellence.
Yeah, I think with the Big Show, which was surprising, is that there's always been this kind of like, with him, like you said, there's almost been like an identity crisis before that time, you know, like you said, in 2008. But I also think with him that I like how they're utilizing him in like a more serious fashion, you know, because there was like few times like in the span of like me watching right in his career where it was like it was almost like a joke to him to come out, like people weren't really taking him seriously, even though he's like this huge guy, right, and he should be able to just crush you.
They had him like crying and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, and yes, it was funny and stuff like that, like some of the things, but man,
you look at some of those matches that he did with Braun Strowman, you know, like in 2017, he really made Braun Strowman. He really put him over and made him into a monster. Of course, WWE didn't take advantage of that, and then 3 years later, they gave him the Universal title as a second place trophy because Roman Reigns couldn't work.
But it was.
He put him over big.
I like when they utilized the Big Show as this, you know, person who can work, you know, like that. You know what I mean? Sorry, the baby started crying, so I just got like distracted.
I heard her.
But you know what I mean? So. All right, well, I'm going to say goodbye now.
All right, Victoria's going to be checking off, and luckily we got to the main event anyway, so we can check off. Now, before you leave, Victoria, we are a little programming note. We will not be on the air next week for Post Raw 91 because we are celebrating our 5-year anniversary this Sunday, July 26th. 5 years married to this wonderful woman. So we're going to be celebrating that. We're going to be going on a mini vacation down to Wildwood in New Jersey.
Have a good night from me, everyone.
I'm going to be enjoying a week of no pro wrestling, so that'll be very nice. Anyway, so that was Raw, and that main event was really good. I thought it was really well done. I don't know if it was enough to save the show because this show really dragged something fierce. You know, like in the middle of it, Victoria said thumbs down. From afar, she said thumbs down. It's tough because I really thought the main event was pretty damn good. So to say thumbs down is like it's harsh, but that might be where I have to go. So chat room, what do you say? Do you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? I'm going to look at the Twitter poll. 58% are giving it a thumbs up, so it just continues to go up right now. But I want to know what the chat room thinks. So let me know. Do you think it's a thumbs up show or a thumbs down show? Did you not watch it? You know, I know Nafis is like, I'm totally done watching wrestling. But others, you know, that checked it out. Grash gives it a thumbs up. Det Morales, by the way, hello. Has anyone heard the rumor Hogan died? He is alive. Yes. I didn't hear that, but you know, I think if something happened to Hulk Hogan, everybody would freaking know about it. Scott Poindexter, I watched Columbo instead. That was good. This show simply sucks apart from the last match, according to Quentin. So I guess that's a thumbs down. Grash gives a thumbs up. Thumbs kind of down. Main event was thumbs up for Andrew Elder. Yeah, I'm kind of see like that's where I am. I'm kind of down. Like this is the one night that I wish that was like thumbs in the middle. You know, because the main event was good, and it's like it doesn't deserve to be on a thumbs down show, but lo and behold, it is. Thumbs up and a standing ovation for your anniversary. Thank you, Jorge. Thank you. Billy Hefner gives it a down a bit, and Billy was lucky. He had to watch like the Reader's Digest version of it, fast forwarding through some things. I know you fast forwarded through it. Come on, don't lie. Because I definitely would. We all knew what was going to happen. Thumbs down. Okay, so that's it there too. Now, after the main event, the one thing I didn't talk about yet is Randy Orton does punt kick the Big Show. So usually they're really putting over the punt kick right now. The main event saves it from the Emperor's thumbs down, according to Grash. So okay, yeah, I'm there with you. I got to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and like this channel or else we'll riot, according to Quentin. I like that. Yes, please do subscribe. If you're checking this out for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Press the little bell so you get notified every single time that we go live. And like this video. we have we have a few people in this chat room. Like the video. If you're signed in, like this video right now, please. Machine Walls, thumbs down and thumbs up for Mike's rants. Thank you. So Randy Orton does punt kick the Big Show at the end of this. They have they're building up the punt kick as like a devastating move. You know, Christian really put it over. Edge hasn't been seen since he got punted. So I'm expecting the Big Show to be taking another hiatus. And I kind of like that they're using him sporadically, you know, and just in certain spots. I'm sure at some point I would love to see, you know, at like Survivor Series, if Edge gets, you know, if his injury isn't as bad as they said it was, you know, like, you know, have him come back, you know, have Christian come back and do like the Bret Hart thing where he doesn't take any bumps, but he's just there, you know, like they did with Bret Hart in 2010. Big Show, and then collect a few more people that Orton's gonna inevitably punt kick and face Randy Orton and, you know, like Andrade and Angel Garza, you know, guys like that, or maybe even the Viking Raiders because they were involved in this match too, so they can be there. You know, like that would be a great Survivor Series match, you know, to get Big Show back and Orton and Edge and Christian as well. Andrew Elder, me and Mike agreed on Seth Rollins, which might make me back on Victoria's list. Yes, the list of Victoria. I'm going to get her a clipboard and design it. Billy Hefner says he did not fast forward except for the Big Show package. So my hat is off to you. Oh, I'm not going to take my hat off because my hair is terrible right now. But yes, I take my hat off to you. Goosey in the chat room. Hey, first time listener, long time chatter here. I'd like to say this show was a thumbs in the middle. That, of course, is not true. He's been a long time listener and a long time chatter as well. So, yeah, a good angle to finish off the show. Good match. I liked it. All right. On that note, I am going to put a bow on this bad boy. I'm going to be back with Jerome Weiland. We planned out officially. We have a date hammered out to do Wrestleview news. And then that'll be the last you see me for a week. No post Raw next week. There'll be no Wrestleview news next week. I'm not doing anything wrestling related really. I'm just gonna report the news. I'm not doing any recaps. There won't be any Raw recap from me. There won't be any NXT recap from me. I'm gonna get some coverage for that. I need a break from professional wrestling. I need it so badly. You have no idea. I'm really looking forward to it. And spending some time with my wife and Liliana. So it'll be good. In the meantime, I want to say thank you all for hanging out with us. 90 shows in. We'll be back in 2 weeks with post Raw number 91. And the march to SummerSlam continues on. You know, like we'll get there, and we're going to have some good stuff coming up for SummerSlam week. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Yeah. And that's all I got for you. Have a great week, everybody. I will be back for Wrestleview news. Goosey news. I have to enunciate, I guess, with Goosey, who has the mind in the gutter over here. And then I'm taking my break. I can't wait. So, everybody, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate it. We have the best listeners. And we'll talk soon. I'll see you then. Bye.